guys can see me yet or not, but we had some issues trying to connect. Hopefully it'll show up on the computer here, and then when it does, I will start basically. And it looks like it's coming in. Oh, we got an ad, so we got to get rid of that.
You can hear the passion drive.
And skip the ad. And there I am. Looks like we got a lot of pixelation as usual. I don't know why. Maybe it's because of the country. But here we go. You ready? You know, we got to start all of our Ol Man Ronin videos with that, because it happens to be one of our motorcycles that we use as the engine sound, and of course some pretty cool intro music. But we've got 6 watching now, up to 10 now. Thank goodness it was able to connect, but it is finally now, and we have a lot of really cool information ahead of you guys. We're pretty excited about this last week. It's probably one of the best weeks I've had in my entire life for a motorcycle related. You know, other than going on long rides and stuff, and that's a lot of fun too. But to meet some of the best people I've met in a long time on motorcycles was, I mean, this was a big deal for this old man, and that's what I'll tell you. Well, we got 15 watching now. First thing we'll ask is, what y'all drinking? Like usual, I happen to be doing a Rolling Rock in my new Classic 350 koozie. I'll tell you guys. Let's see, David Christie, hey from Florida, how you doing? Cheers, everybody. We like to start off the live streams with the cheers, and I really want this to be. I've got the silencer says he's drinking coffee, and that's cool, man. You drink whatever you feel like it. Blaine's drinking Budweiser. Shame on you, Blaine. I'm just teasing. Just kidding. Budweiser's the Honda of beers. You guys know me. You know I like to goof on Honda, and I've had several of them, and of course I've had several. He said cheers. Several what do you call Budweisers over the years as well too. But I had such a great time down in Savannah, Georgia, and James says Scotch. Excellent, James. We had some fun last night. Iron Lady, happy Easter, everyone. That's true too. Happy Easter to everyone. We had some fun last night, Iron Lady and I. We got into the tequila and made a bunch of margaritas, and just say that I'm not drinking any tequila for a while. But it was a lot of fun, and we had a really good time. Let's see. Matthew says coffee here in Australia, 8:30 a.m. Of course. I mean, that's the cool thing about this channel is we are worldwide. We hit just more than the United States. Donna just says just had some great Portuguese wine. There you go. Were you doing a port, or was it a more standard non-fortified wine? Just curious, Donna. But to get back to the reason why this live stream is taking place, because I've already done one in a month. I usually only do one a month, but I might change that up a little bit. We were down in Savannah, Georgia for the press event for the brand new Royal Enfield Classic 350. Man, pardon me with my what do you call it, pronunciation. Constantinos, I don't know. Hi from Greece and hi from Ohio. Silence says it's crazy because you know how I want the Himalayan, but the Classic 350 looks amazing too, and I don't like cruiser type bikes. Well, it's not. It's more of a tradition. I'll tell you what, cruiser style bikes, in the true sense of the term, didn't really take place until I would say after World War II. Previously, it was all mid-control, sitting up straight, up and down. And it wasn't until after a while that Harley Davidson and a few other companies started, you know, moving the seats back a little bit, bringing the handlebars a little bit more to, or not to you, but forward, and then having like forward controls. They were taking the Scooter Stick says T. They were taking the hint from guys that are in the chopper realm, and they were changing things up a little bit to give more long distance, because after World War II, more and more Americans were traveling longer distance on motorcycles. And so what they were doing is giving a more relaxed fit. The Classic 350 is not a cruiser. What it is a throwback to what they used to throw out of airplanes during World War II. And I mean that with all due respect, because they were dropping those style motorcycles out of the back of airplanes during World War II, especially for the invasion of Europe. And the airborne troops were using them. And it's kind of funny, the new Signals version of the motorcycle has some of the throwback for that, where they put the tire pressure that should be and how much oil and stuff like that all over it. It's really, really cool. You need to see one of those. So I definitely want to recommend everybody go to royalenfield.com and then click on whatever country you're in, obviously, and then click on the different models that are available in your country and colors and stuff like that. But it's really cool. I know what I found out riding the Classic 350, and it's one of the things that tickled me the most was, of course, the engine. You guys know with my Meteor 350, I dearly love that 350 engine. I think it's one of the best engines that has ever been put in a motorcycle, and that's a pretty strong statement for me. Let's see. Matthew says, I'm really keen to ride the Classic, and I'm telling you what, I was too. I was super excited. Dennis says, I think they're referred to as standard bikes. Exactly, standard bikes. Mohammed says, greeting from Singapore. It's 6:30 a.m. Well, Mohammed, I'm really proud and happy you're here. What do you call it? Blaine says the Flea. Silencer says standard for sure. And yeah, it's a type of bike. But yeah, why I chose Royal Enfield's beyond me, but I love the stuff. They're just beautiful. They really are. They are so retro and down to the. And Kevin says, hey, from Texas. Did you have an allowance to ride on your own? Yes, we did. In fact, we'll get into. There's going to be a lot of videos. I think I've got 7 videos planned over the next couple of weeks. I'm going to break up the Royal Enfield Classic 350 into 2 separate videos, and then we're going to do some other stuff too. Her 2 wheels, which is a very large. I mean, I'm just a tiny little channel, but her 2 wheels is a very large channel that she was invited down as well, and we actually got to go out and ride several different bikes, just me and her, and then we also had Bridget, the girl on her bike out of Wisconsin. She came with us on the last time we actually got a chance to ride, and Bridget and I both jumped on a Continental GT, and Jess, her 2 wheels, jumped on a Interceptor, and we ran from Savannah out to the lighthouse out at. Kevin says, hey, I did mention that. And then, of course, Donna said he had a allowance to ride. Yes, we did that. It was a lot of fun. We also did a lot of press stuff. Taking pictures and stuff. And you guys have been seeing it on my Instagram page. And one thing I really want to encourage you guys is please go to my Instagram, because we put a lot of stuff on Instagram that doesn't make it on the YouTube channel. And even more so, if you're a member of our channel here, if you see the little dot below it says join, if you join that, I do an update every Friday, and the same update goes on Patreon. And so you can see some behind the scenes type of stuff there as well too. Yep, Tybee Island Lighthouse. Sorry about that. I had a brain, you know what I mean? It's funny. I was going to say, what do you think the Classic versus Royal Enfield 650 versus GT? I mean, it's not apples to apples. That's completely different. That's like comparing a Harley Sportster to a Super Glide, to be honest with you. It just it really doesn't fit the same realm. The seating position's different, completely different. Obviously the engine's completely different. It's a completely different motorcycle. So how would I say that I like them? I like all the bikes, but their Signified says, just finished your crab leg Easter dinner. Excellent. I don't ever judge a motorcycle against another motorcycle unless they're really similar, or it's something that I'm going to be, looks like we had a freeze up there for a second, or something that I'm going to be purchasing. To be honest with you, I think the being the fact that they're the same engine, it's a different seating position. It would be like having a 350. Of course, I'm going to be American centric here for a second, guys. But let's say you have a 350 engine and you have one in a pickup truck and you have one in a Chevy Nova. I'll go back in time. They're the same engine, but they're completely different platforms, and that's kind of really what we're talking about here. The Meteor is a lot more relaxed. The Classic 350 is a lot more adaptable. In other words, it feels different all the way around, except for the engine and the transmission, which are incredibly smooth, which is one of the reasons why I love that engine so much. And then you add to the fact that the different package ideas and the different accessories you can put on it, you can pretty much make it on your own. How do you compare the new 350 to the older model? I absolutely have zero experience in the older model. Now, they had one there and I took pictures of it, but in America, we didn't really have a lot of access to those other motorcycles that you have in the rest of the world. Royal Enfield, I never saw one until the early 90s in Ohio. Never saw one. We had a dealer that was selling them up in a little town called Canton, Ohio, and but to be honest with you, they were more interested in selling other models than they were Royal Enfield. And so I test rode an old Bullet. I mean, it was like, again, something I don't talk about because I was only for like 5 minutes. And then actually the dealer was trying to talk me out of it to buy something else. And that, to me, that left a bad taste in my mouth. It wasn't until I had the opportunity to ride the Himalayan. And the first time I rode a modern, what do you call it, Royal Enfield, I say modern is since the big changeover in the factory there in India, was in 2020. And man, I just literally fell in love ever since. We got 35 people watching. That's fantastic. But as far as me having a lot of experience on the older Royal Enfields, no. In fact, I was asking Bree Poland, who's really in charge of the event down there, and I was pleasantly surprised by how well I was accepted. But I did ask her, I said, is there any chance to find an old one? And she goes, really not in America, because I'd love to do something with one. Let's see. Kevin says, good leg room for a 32-inch inseam. Well, I have a 35, 36-inch inseam, and you can see the pictures how I'm sitting on it, which is why I really encourage you, Kevin, to go to my Instagram page and check that out. Follow me there, and you'll see how I fit on the bike. Let's see. Blaine says foot pegs look like they are not mid pegs further back. No, they're mid. Steel toe shifting. The one thing that I will say, and this is not a negative, it's just I have a really large foot, and I was using the side of my sole of my foot to do the shifting because it was difficult for me to put my foot down under. Now, full disclosure, I was wearing cowboy boots because I didn't have a lot of room to carry stuff when I had the helmet. I did learn something about packing stuff and to be honest with you, her two wheels just helped me out on that. She told me what to do. It's like, because I've never really traveled with a helmet before. So I will do it differently next time, that's for sure. I think the bag that I got from Kemimoto worked perfect, but I still had to take the helmet off to put it in the overhead compartments of the airplanes because it was just too wide. Anyway, well, Stuart's there. He's drinking Budweiser or Budweiser. Yeah. Craig says, thanks for your videos. Oh, he pulled it off. Well, you're welcome. He said he retracted it. But be honest with you, the motorcycle, I wasn't sure about the seating position myself. And it was complete. I mean, we did a lot of miles on it and a lot of slow miles on it. And you guys know that slow miles sometimes are more tedious. He goes, ooch, no. More tedious than when you're riding out and relaxing because a lot of shifting, a lot of shifting, a lot of shifting, a lot of braking, a lot of braking. So your feet are constantly moving. And to be honest with you, it was near perfect. I simply enjoy it. I would love to. I know it sounds terrible. I always tell Iron Lady, I want all the things because of all the motorcycles that I've ridden from Royal Enfield, I want one of each. I know, really, I know. And somebody said before, well, which is your favorite? When people come to my food truck, they always ask me, man, which is your favorite? Your pastrami, your maestrami sandwich, your shrimp roll, your chicken sandwich, your Ohio hot, your sausages. What's your favorite sandwich? And I always come back to them. The same thing I'm going to come back to you guys. If you have children, which is your favorite child? Because they're different in their own way, but you love them all the same. Now, if I had to choose, if I could only have if I could only have three of all no, I want one of all because they're so much fun and they're so different. The Interceptor, the seating position is completely different than the Continental GT. And I'll be honest with you, I had a blast on that Continental GT. You know, I rode it last week and for the last 2 weeks before I went down. And then I rode it again because I loved it so much. But the Classic 350, I can't even describe to you how impressed I was with it. I guess that's the best way to say it. I was completely impressed. The styling of it, I'm an old guy, so it hit me perfectly. But I was by far the oldest guy down there. Not even close. I mean, we had that young actor Jake Manley there from the TV show The Order, and he was there. Great guy, man. I'll tell you, very humble. You would consider these, some of these actors to be like snooty snoot. No, this guy was not. He was awesome, and I really enjoyed meeting him. And it's kind of funny. We share the same birthday. obviously lots of years apart, but we actually share the same birth date, and I thought that was kind of funny. Dennis says I look pretty comfortable in the Classic and the Industry, and I was. And again, when you've never ridden that style of bike from that company, you don't know how you're going to sit it and fit on it. And I did. I was completely comfortable. Craig says bought a Meteor in February, got my license last week. Big goofy smile going down the road, and you know what? That goofy grin factor is it's through the entire line. And I think that's one of the best parts about Royal Enfield is that they give you pleasure without what's the best way to say it? They give you pleasure with being able to ride within your ability. You know, there's a lot, and if you guys saw that last video I did with the introduction to changing the tires on the Himalayan, and the reason I did that was two. Number one, I was able to go, they were going to balance the tires for me. I paid for everything. It wasn't like I got anything for free, so that's not an issue. I paid for everything, but because I want to support our dealer network, whether it's Throttle Company in Columbus or it's Mid-Ohio Power Sports up in Mount Vernon, which are my two closest ones. I'm going to give them the same kind of love. I bought some stuff. I bought a lot of stuff from Throttle Company when I fixed up the Himalayan, and I bought tires from the guys up there at Mid-Ohio Power Sports because I don't really want to favor one over the other. That'd be like me favoring the Meteor over the Classic 350. I'm not going to do it. They're beautiful bikes. They both run great. We had them on the highway up to 70 miles an hour, and it was amazing. I mean, not a bit of vibration other than that tactile rumble that you get in the seat of every motorcycle. And that to me is important because they don't have tachs, but to be honest with you, I don't really use the tachometer. I very seldom use the speedometer. Shh. Miss Kitty says, parked in the original, they look small. Do they feel that way? Not at all. I mean, I'm not a little guy. I'm 260 pounds. But as far as to me, it didn't do anything different than what, in fact, it may had a little bit more power, not power, but a little bit more top end than the Meteor. And I can't say that for sure because I want to ride them side by side. And there it was completely flat all the way. I mean, it's the low country area of Georgia. James says, I placed my deposit 2 weeks ago for the red chrome for a delivery time another 2 weeks. Looking forward to slow, enjoyable rides on the slow roads of North Yorkshire, England. And I'll tell you, that's what these motorcycles do best. They're fun. They're pleasant. What's another word to look at it? They're relaxing. And I think in each one's a little bit different. The Meteor has that more American cruiser style, whereas the Classic 350 has that more retro, real retro, World War II, early 50s style. And it depends on which one you like. That's why I always recommend guys to go to their dealer and ride both. Or ride the Interceptor, ride the GT. See which one fits you. Because you don't, to take somebody's word for it online, without actually doing it themselves sounds like a YouTube guy that would test ride and give a bad review on a motorcycle they've never been on. You have to do it for yourself. You have to find it out for yourself. All I can do is relay my experiences of riding motorcycles on the street for over 50 years. Steve says I ordered a Classic for my local dealership due in July, but I'm 6'3", concerned to be too small to me. Well, you're an inch taller than me. Look at my Instagram pictures and you'll see how it is. And that's be the best thing. What's your inseam? Mine's 35, 36. I get away sometimes, I get away at 34 pants sometimes, but I don't want to look high water. The only time I do that is when I'm wearing boots. But because sometimes it's hard to find 35-inch inseam, and 36 sometimes drags my heel. So that's basically what I'm trying to say. Matthew says, I love my GT 650. So they are a blast, I'll tell you. Let me have another sip. Guys, cheers. Again, we're drinking Rolling Rock. Put down there what you guys are drinking too. We got 46 people watching, and I'm excited about that. And like I said, any questions you have, this is going to be more of a live chat than it's going to be a live stream. And guys like Andy, get on here. Stuart, get on here. I know all you guys are. Donna, ask some questions, guys, what you think, and I'll try to answer them as fast as I can. Dakao Red Panda says, love from India. Could our Royal Enfield. I think it is, man. India loves them because rugged, torquey, easy repair. I'll tell you what. I rode with, there's a girl there that was with us her name is Shirti, and she's from India, and she is the very first person, not woman, not guy, the very first person to ever ride and own a Royal Enfield Himalayan. She's also She rode all the way, basically cross country, but rode on Route 66 all the way from Chicago to California in the winter. And in fact, she sent me a message a little bit earlier today. She says, we definitely need to ride together in the snow. And I said, you better believe it, because she's tough like that. She's India tough. And that's what I'll tell you, that's a really good term I'm going to start using, because you guys know, if you can ride motorcycles in India, you can ride anywhere in the world. And I'm not playing. And Dakar will probably back me up on that, because they are extremely tough. And the bikes that they build are extremely tough, and they're cheap to work on. They're cheap to replace parts on. I mean, I made a joke about, and not really a joke. I'll have to go back here and look what people are saying, because we're getting a lot of text now. But let me tell you this quick little story. My Harley Sportsters, have you ever lost or had a side panel break off or the cover of the battery, it'll cost you, and this is a couple years ago, $125 to replace it. The Himalayan had one when I got it, because it was used, had a broken tab where the guy tried to unscrew the bottom bolt to just a plug in, and he snapped it off. Cost me $10. Oil filters, $5. The stuff is extremely cheap and really easy to work on. We're going to be doing a Meteor 350 oil change here really soon, and we're going to be filming that and showing you guys some basic maintenance as well too. Let's see. Signifies I'm going to have to figure out how to convince my wife I need a third Royal Enfield. Well, can't help you on that one, brother. Silence and says, I miss beer. Haven't had it in about 8 months. Well, then drink a lot of whiskey and you won't miss it. Just kidding. Sanjeep says, the classic 350 enough for the highway. Again, we had them on the highway at 70 miles an hour, the whole group of ours. In fact, not an issue whatsoever. And I would say that it could do it, I would say even better than what the Himalayan can do it was, because it is electronically limited, just like the Meteor is. So you're going to get 70, 72 mile an hour out of it. But it's, as far as what kind of highway speeds you're comfortable riding at, it'll do it. Now, you're not going to have any more passing ability when you're way up in those numbers. I mean, that's just a realistic idea of a 350. Signifies says it's the gray marsh version of the C350, more gray than green than gray. No, it's gray. In fact, go to her Two Wheels' Instagram page and look at her pictures. She rode that the entire time. Victoria here. How you doing, Outlaw? Bert says, Shinerbach, cheers. Believe it or not, my fourth cousins are the Snyders that own Shiner Brewing down there in Texas. So there you go, baby. Donna says, the Instagram pictures I saw in the sand color one I like a lot. Yeah, they're beautiful. Those signal colors are gorgeous. What do you call it? Stuart says, okay, how is the I guess it's battery access on the Classic, easy to take out. We did not try to open that stuff up, and to be perfectly honest with you, again, these are brand new motorcycles. These are the first ones in North America. So we weren't to do that. That's all I can tell you. Silencer says, haha. I know, right? Tom says, hello, all, just cold water tonight. Had a couple red stripes last night. You go, man. It's all good. Jay Speed says, Signified just has to point out how cheap the RE are. Yes, exactly. That's how you do it. James says, that's what Royal Enfields are doing correct. An affordable choice of motorcycles for all ages that has a 3-year, fingers ain't working, 3-year warranty and roadside assistance. What are you going to say? Silencer says, I watch her Two Wheels, but sorry, Ol Man Ronin, I got to say I'm sticking with you because of Himalayan. Well, she's going to be having one, I think. I'm not certain for that, but there was talk about that because she wants to ride with her husband, Jordan. And I'll tell you, those guys literally live, well, they're really close to me, that's all I'll say. They're great people. They both come to the food truck, and I consider them friends. So Jess and Jordan, if you're watching, cheers to you. And Jess, we had a blast, didn't we? She's a good girl, man. I'll tell you what, she's a lot of fun. Scooter to Sticks has a friend of mine who's a new rider with a Grom, wants to cross the U.S. Nice to have time and money. I suggest the Meteor. Have any thoughts on riding it that far with no interstate travel? I wouldn't be afraid to hop on the interstate once in a while on it. To be honest with you, I'm actually planning on doing a long trip too on the 350 Meteor, but that'll be later down the road here. Stuart says, time to drink another Honda. Exactly. We're going to play the drinking game with Hondas. She rode the Himalayan and she loved it. But yeah, I got to keep watching the Himalayan. You know what? We're going to keep making as many videos as what we possibly can. Like I said, we've got access to a couple other motorcycles down the road, and we're going to be pretty excited about that. Richard Morani says, drinking Monster, no sugar. I believe it's the petrol with the flower essence. That's pretty cool. Backhouse says, thanks for your answer, but toughness, cheapness, and nostalgia are not priorities in Western market. That's kind of not true. The reason why I say that is because Triumph is selling a lot of motorcycles. And to be perfectly honest with you, I think Royal Enfield is hitting that. And we have a group here called Hipsters. And they love the old style look. And I think it's going to really hit. And those are the guys young and money. They're all young, urban, you know, what we used to call yuppies, or the Harley guys call rubs. Rubs is rich urban professional or rich urban biker, and the yuppies are the young urban professionals. But those guys are the ones that buy these kind of motorcycles. And I'll tell you what, they're just, and I think it's going to really, the buzz is pretty strong. Here's a good one. Her two wheels and Bridget and I, which is Jess and Bridget, which is the girl and her bike, all went down on a free time that we had. We grabbed the 350s. I had the black Stealth. I loved that with the red stripe on the tank. It was gorgeous. I rode it anytime I got on, and that's the one I wanted because I like black bikes. You guys all know that. So we rode down to the river road there that runs right along the river in Savannah, and it's a cobbled road. Man, the bike's handled perfectly down there. You didn't hear any rattles, chanky, chanky, chank around like that, like you would on a Harley Davidson. I didn't say that out loud. But we rode those roads, and we parked in front of a coffee shop, and we went in, and I got a sweet tea, and those girls got some iced coffee. And man, we had a group of people come around us that was amazing. And then lo and behold, another two couples, which are fantastic. If you guys want to see some really cool Royal Enfield modifications, it's Bach, B-A-A-K motorcycles out of California. Remy and Laura, fantastic people. We met them down there as well too, and they brought their I think they were both riding Signals, and we all had all 5 bikes in a row right in the same place, and we had a crowd of people around us. People were saying, "Man, I'll buy one right now." I mean, it had that kind. So to answer your question, Daka, I think it's going to be a strong motorcycle here, maybe better than the Meteor. Aaron says, hello from Germany. Ordered a green Classic 4 weeks ago, still waiting. Yeah, I mean, things are really messed up in the world right now. You know, I'm not going to say any more on that. Things are messed up right now. Outlaw says, the dealer network is very limited in my area, and wait to go see and test ride one Southwest Virginia here. Yeah, I mean, but the dealership, here's what the thing is. I was talking to a couple of the sales reps that were there, and they were telling me they have dealers waiting to become dealers. But there's not enough motorcycles because of they have to fill all the orders first, and then after those are filled, then the new dealers can be coming in because there's a supply chain issue, and that's not Royal Enfield's fault. That's the world's fault. Let's see. I don't want to turn this into a conversation about the Himalayan, but what do you think about the Scram? You know, it's one of those type of things that I think it may be really strong for its target market. You know, there's a lot of people that want something that's going to be a little bit lighter, have a little bit smaller wheel in the front, a little bit better handling in certain situations, not necessarily 100% off-road, because obviously the Himalayan will be better off-road, but it'll be more that higher pop speed and, you know, instead of slow and steady, it'll be a little faster just because of the weight differences and the way things are going to be set up. That's what I know of just looking at it. I have no inside information. Again, guys, I'm not tied to the company other than being a fanboy. They really love what I do as far as my content, and that's not why I do it. I do it because I love the frickin' motorcycle, and that's basically all I can say. And now I love the brand. Let's see. Jay says, they have a luxury problem. They can't make enough. Now, you know, here's the deal. Harley Davidson's the same way. I've never seen a Sportster S in the showrooms yet. Never. People say, well, they buy them as soon as they get them because they're not getting many of them. That's just the way it is. And I think that's one of the reasons why Harley cut it back on a bunch of models too, because they can't keep enough in stock. It's just the way it is. I know I talked to my other dealer friends about some of the other brands like Honda and Kawasaki and Yamaha and Suzuki, and they're the same thing. So it's not just Royal Enfield. It's not just Harley Davidson. This is a worldwide issue. Signify said, are they using the same tires on the... That's a good question, but I really don't know. I didn't look at the tires so much. I was too impressed with the other ergonomics, but that's a good question. And Andy, keep in touch. I'll find out for you and let you know. Stuart says, I love the renewal of the old style. Almost bought a Kawasaki Z1900. That's cool. I know I'm going to, and this is going to be something off. I was offered to ride for a couple weeks a W800, and we're going to ride one of those probably in the next month or two. It's going to be a while. There's a big recall on them, so we got to wait till that's over. Let's see. Nick says he's having a Great Lakes Dortmunder. I love Great Lakes, man. I'm from Northeast Ohio, so that's a big brewery up my old way. Scram looks so cool, but it won't fit in my garage. Yeah, I agree with you. Well, not really. I can probably put another 10 bikes in my garage. All right, lady, I hope you're not watching. Let's see. Dakal says, thanks, man. I am from backward region in India. Never even seen a foreigner. I cannot believe how connected I feel to you. Thank you. You know what, man? That's what this is all about. I feel connected to the world with this, and that's why I said our channel is a worldwide channel. It's not just a America or North America. We love to cover all of the United States, and I really think that it's or not all of the world. And like I said, we don't care where you're from. We're going to treat you with love and respect no matter it. And I really do appreciate what you said. And you know what, Dachau, help spread the word. Get a lot of your friends to start subscribing. We want to try to build this channel as big as we can because we really love what we're doing for you all. Richard says, Royal Enfield sponsoring a lovely young lady named Chloe in the Build Race Team Series. Had a bike reveal yesterday at a local dealer. Wish her the best of luck. Royal Enfield's a hell of a company. They are, and that's, this is one of the things I'm going to say. I met the president of the company, I think pretty much the Western Hemisphere. What a down-to-earth gentleman he was. And before he left, he said, Mr. Ronin, Jeff, come over here. He just shook my hand and said, it's a pleasure meeting me, and he looks forward to seeing me in the future. And when I talk about Bree Poland, who's she's kind of like the marketing person. I don't know what her exact title is. I know it's a brand manager for worldwide on the 650s, but she does so much more than that. And she actually brought my Meteor 350 to me when she brought me to let me use it. And you just don't see that. These people are real. They're every day, and they ride. Bree's been riding a long time. She's a young lady, so it's nothing like what I've been doing, but she's been riding pretty much her entire life. And what else can you say about that? Other than these people ride, and that's what I love about it. Most of these other corporations are filled with, they got their pencils on there, and they're ready to cut brands, models. That's not what these guys are about. Let's see. Erwin says, in India, the Classic 350 is a heel-toe shifter. In Germany, not. It is not. It's only a toe shifter. I really wish it did have a heel. I'm a big heel-toe fan, guys. And if you guys ever watch my channel, one of the things I love about the Meteor 350 so much more than anything else is the fact of that heel-toe shifter. And I'm hoping that you can get them. I don't know, again, but maybe down the road. Let's see. Matthews, just get a bigger garage. Daco says, Stuart, thanks. By the way, Daco's not my real name. It means sort of a bandit. That's okay. Ronin is not my real name either. My name is Jeff, if you haven't guessed. But Ronin has been a nickname I've had since, for at least 40 years. And what Ronin means is masterless, wandering warrior. And that's kind of what the nickname I got years ago, even though I'm nothing in shape like I used to be. But I used to be in shape. That's all I'll say. Any other questions so far? I mean, like I said, we've been running here, about 35 minutes, and we really enjoyed it. This, guys, was a joy for me to be part of this experience. I really, really did love it. It was an honor and a privilege, and that's what I told Bree. And I know I don't want to sound like I'm just gushing all over people, but when you're older, again, I'm not really the target market for any of these corporations anymore. I've outgrown that by about 40 years because most people, they want young and pretty, and I'm the exact opposite of both of those things. But the reality of it is they treated me with the utmost kindness and respect. And even like I said before, even the young people that were there, with doing the computer work were super nice. The ones that doing the photography work were super nice. Like you'll notice that on the Instagram, any picture that that the young photographer was taking, I made sure that I gave him credit for it. Number one, they wanted me to, but I would have done that anyways because they're not my pictures. And I really do appreciate how I was treated. How I mean, it's just they took us out to eat a couple different places, and it was really a lot of fun. That's all I can say. They are a first-class company. I'm going to flat out say it, and I probably shouldn't. And so, yeah, I'm going to say it. I've been riding Harley Davidsons for 50 years. I have never even got a thank you card from them. And I have 7 Harley Davidsons in the garage. Dennis says, from one old dog to another, you're still pretty, Jeff. Hey, thank you, brother. I really appreciate it. Cheers. And again, guys, tell us what you're drinking. Have any questions? How I felt the bike rode as far as the levers and stuff. Everything was near perfect as far as my hand position. I have fairly large hands. So Outlaw says, yes, you're very blessed to have an opportunity. Yeah, again, that is true. Very blessed to have the opportunity. I'm not one to say, well, I earned it. No, nobody earns anything. Respect only comes from Honda. Respect only comes from your honest opinion and what you believe in something. And a lot of folks can see through the BS. And that's why I was talking to her two Jess at Her Two Wheels, and she says, she were talking. There's a lot of plastic people out there, but we knew that. We know that you can't trust most what people say because they're looking for the paycheck. And we don't get the paycheck. Anytime anybody gives me something, I really tell you that about it. Like if I got the jacket from Hope, what happened there? We just lost power. But we'll see what happens. My computer just went down. But you're still seeing me, so that's pretty cool. I don't know what happened there. Interesting. But we'll try that again. Maybe something got hot. But you're still seeing me. I just lost my computer behind me. I'll have to wait a second. So that's how I'm reading my my texts there from you guys. That is the weirdest daggone thing I've ever seen. Let me put that a redo here. Chat disconnected. Please wait. And I got an ad. Skip ads. Okay. Let's see where we're at. Can I have one, Jeff? AKA Harley. No, it's one of those things that it's not really because it's the Harley, it's because I rebuilt every one of them. The Harley Davidsons that we have in the garage are stuff that I took from literally crap motorcycles and rebuilt them. Another thought than that. There's blood, sweat, and tears in each one of them, so they mean something to me more than just a model. Take it back. I bought one brand new Harley Davidson in my life, and I sold it within a year of when I got it. Did Royal Enfield announce any info on a larger Himalayan engine? No, they are. I'm going to use the term that I found and kind of got a kick out of from another YouTuber. They said that they are as tight as a nun's knees on new information. And to be honest with you, if I did know something, I probably, which I don't, but if I did, I wouldn't probably mention it because, again, if they ever tell you something, they tell you it in the strictest of confidence. So it's one of those type of things. But I do not have any information. Let's see. Silencer, can I have one? Nope. I need some practice for the BSR class. Yeah, I mean, well, you got to get your class first and not do it on a Harley, man. Do it on a small motorcycle. Let's see. Kevin says, this has been great. Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate your honest, straightforward approach. Keep them coming. Ice water. You got it, Kevin. You drink what you want, bro. It's like you ride what you want. Even if you have a Honda, I'm not going to hold that against you. We're all blessed to believe and agree on Royal Enfield. And I agree to that, Blaine. That's true. Seat comfort, handlebar width, strength on headlight. I rode very little in low light conditions. One of the things I wanted to do was ride around the streets of Savannah at night, but they had to put the bikes away every night just for obvious reasons. But that I guarantee you, I've been to Savannah before, but I really didn't realize how much I missed it. And there's some things that we did that I definitely want to have Iron Lady with me to do in the future. It was a freaking blast. That's all I can say. We had a blast. And you're going to be seeing 99% of that stuff on upcoming videos. And like I mentioned before, we're going to split the Royal Enfield Classic 350 into at least 2, possibly 3 videos. Let's see. Seat comfort, really comfortable. And I had this, everything I had on my bike was stock. Now it did come, all the motorcycles we had were the two up. And excuse me, There was no opportunity to ride a single seat, which I would have picked. But there were some models that had the touring seat. I wanted to have the basic because that's where I like to start. And we rode the Thursday we were there, we rode all day, man. And then when we got done, I rode more, twice more. And I was on the Classic most of the day. So you're talking a solid 8 hours. No issues whatsoever. Handlebar width was perfect. My shoulders didn't buzz. I get a little numbness in my hand. I did not have any of that. I haven't had it on any of the Royal Enfield so far. So I'm pretty proud of that. Let's see. Let's go back here a second. Strength of headlight, I don't know. I would say probably average because not knowing, I don't want to say one way or another. I would say adequate. How's that? Let's see. Donna says, what I appreciate in Royal Enfield is that they make good medium-sized engines. The Japanese and others are more important than big-sized engines. The reason they do in America is the vastness of the country. Myself included, I have loved riding coast to coast. Like you guys all know, my longest trip that I've ever had on a motorcycle what happened when I was 17 and just turned 18. My birthday is in August, so I left in late July and came back right after, or actually really late July and came back right after my birthday. Well, a week after my birthday, because what I did was I ran from Northeast Ohio to Orlando, from Orlando to Santa Barbara, California, from Santa Barbara, which is just north of LA. Sometimes I say LA, and then up to Anchorage, Alaska, and back down. But I did the Alaska Highway and down through, and I did that on a Sportster back when I was a kid. But the reality of it is, I'm used to riding longer distances on smaller motorcycles. And so to me, it makes no difference. But a lot of guys are conditioned in their head that they need the biggest engine possible. But you really don't. Let's see. Silencer says, I have zero riding experience since going to the BSR blindly, but my first bike should be a Himalayan, hopefully for soon for sure. The Himalayan is a great first bike. I always recommend folks, though, and this is honest to God truth, I'm not going to discourage you from buying anything, but I always tell people, buy something that you're not afraid to drop, because you will. Of all the bikes that you can buy that's not going to get hurt as much, the Himalayan's it. So you make the right decision there. J.A. said, I haven't ridden in 40 years, but first with itchy boots and more so with you and your videos, I'm planning on taking the basic ride. Man, I'll tell you what, the more of us is the less of them. We in this part of the world, we call them cagers. And cagers are basically car drivers, and cagers are idiots, and they're destructive, and they hit us all the time. So we want more motorcycle riders and less of those guys. So welcome to the club, brother. Make sure that you keep in touch with us and let us know how you're doing in your White Rider course. And if you haven't ridden in 40 years, definitely take that course. My Iron Lady, she took the course, and our daughter Emily Ems took the course, and they've actually changed my approach to riding, because I'm going to admit it, I very seldom wore a helmet before they got their license, and now I do because I want them to. Now it sounds kind of funny, but that's the truth. Steve says, where's it at there? Did I lose you, Steve? How's the clutch lever in 350? I heard it's a bit stiff. Well, if you're used to riding Harley Davidsons, it is a breeze, brother. I'm not kidding you. I mean, it's like I can do it with one finger. It's nothing. I don't, that's all I can say. What I'm used to is maybe going to be something that you're used to. It is super smooth. And it's right there. Again, you should be checking your clutch play all the time. Royal Enfield recommends every 600 miles or 1,000 kilometers. And people say, well, that's a lot. No, it's not. You should be checking it on your Harley a lot too. Most people don't. I have no issue with the placement. Again, I got big hands, and I work with them all the time being a chef. So maybe my hands are a little bit more apt, if you know what I mean. Plus, if you ever get on my old Harley Davidson, my Road King, and you realize it's a standard clutch, but it's a hopped up engine. That's some of them they have to actually put little what do you call it? Cable easers on them that makes it a little bit easier. But I have no problem whatsoever. Iron Lady will not and cannot ride the the Road King because of that reason. It's way too stiff. So to ask me that, it's a tough one, man, because I think it's silky smooth. It just is, like I say, I use one finger a lot of times to do the clutch. I do it with the brake too when I'm doing trail braking, or if I'm using the maybe I'll use two more than one, but I have used one just to go through the gears pretty quick. Although on a Royal Enfield like the Meteor and also the Classic 350, I really recommend people to run the engine through its range. A lot of guys, if you're going to shift really fast on a small bike, they have great low end torque starting out, but you want to run it through this power band, and don't be afraid of redlining it, because you're not going to. Just run it and feel it in your butt. That's where the key is. I mean, man, we never had tax on old motorcycles. You felt it. Okay, it's time to shift. Let's see. Royal Enfield has got a few new models being released this year. Yes, they do. Daco says, in India, heel toe shifter is preferred. So why is so unpopular in the West? Kids. Because there's kids. They get spoiled. It's like most guys and girls in America can't drive a stick shift. It's the same thing. You get something new and I can't do it. If you're used to doing it, it's nothing to it. Sonny Pruitt. And that's what I always like to say. The heel shifter is so much easier. You just click your heel down, man. It's the easiest thing in the world. And it kills me, because all these young kids wearing all their fancy shoes, their $300 sneakers and stuff, and they don't want to get the rubber on their toes, so they put little bands on their feet. I don't know. I'm old. Get off my lawn. But the reality of it is, I mean, the heel toe shift, you don't have to worry about that. You just push down to shift when you're in low gear, and you push back on your heel. You don't have to put your toe underneath it, which solves the problems. If I had a heel toe shifter on the Classic 350, I wouldn't have had any issues at all with that, because I don't on the Meteor, and it's exactly the same length. So heel toe shifter to me, I hope they offer it as an option, because put it on and learn how to ride with a heel toe. That's all I'll say. Nice story. You have a cool nickname. Nice nickname to have. My nickname in college was marijuana. Well, you are what you smoke, I guess. I don't know. Matthew, which ones? And that including Classic and the Scram. Signified says, that was my first bike and love it, and you won't regret it. I think the Scram 411 was the first. Let's see. Just finished a 300-mile trip on my Himalayan. Pretty simple. Would you expect the same ease of valve check, oil change? Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Pub Runner says, I've seen some YouTube channels or videos where, where'd you go? I've seen some YouTube videos where the year is stated as 2022, but it's obviously 2021 or 2020. Are U.S. dealers ripping people off, and how's that? I don't know. I mean, that's something I can't answer. I'm not affiliated with any dealer. I don't know anything about how they do business, but I would say if it's marked on the title as that year, that's what year they have to recommend it on. So. Daka says, Steve Edwards is a little bit stiff, especially when you're used to lighter ones, but you'd get easily used to it. It's never an issue, even in traffic. Stuart says, my wife took the MSC. She fell 4 times. I mean, that happens. That just happens. Iron Lady never fell. I was really proud of her. She did have whiskey throttle, she told me, on a Harley. Ooch. Erwin says, I love the heel toe shifter on my Meteor 350. We'll try to chance the shifter on my coming Classic to heel too. Exactly. And it's something that I don't know. There's 2 questions I asked the people that were there about finding me out if they can do a heel toe shifter on the Classic, because that's something I want to know. And the other thing is, I asked them if you can change the front guards on the Himalayan around the gas tank to the newer ones, because at times when I get settled into the seat on the Himalayan, my knees do hit, and I'd rather it not. And I also asked him about maybe offering an option of having a flat seat within a half an inch of the rear seat on the Himalayan as well too. But who knows if that'll ever happen. It just may be me, and I'm the only one in the world asking for it. Let's see. Ace says, best regards from Sweden. Cheers, Ace, and welcome to the channel. Actually trading in my Interceptor 650 against the new Classic next weekend, but haven't ridden it yet. Well, get out there and ride it. Kurt says, amazing. Royal Enfield lets people test ride their products. I've owned a lot of bikes and didn't get. Man, I would never ride a motorcycle I can't test ride. I know there's a company here in Central Ohio that says you have to put money down on it before you're allowed to test ride it. No way, man. No way. No frickin' way. If you don't let me ride it, I ain't buying. Sorry. Is that an old man thing? But there's no way in the world that I would do that. Why in the world? Because you don't know if it's going to fit you. You might as well be one of these YouTubers that judge the motorcycle without ever being on it. You cannot do it. I won't do a review on a motorcycle unless I have 1,000 miles on it. I won't do a first impressions unless I do over 50 miles on it. How can you know if it's going to be you're going to like it until you ride it? You don't, because it may not fit you. That's just ridiculous. James says you should Royal Enfield should title you the ambassador to their company within the USA. Well, you know, petition them. Start a petition. We draft Old Man Ronin. Miss Kitty says you don't have rider toe. Or wait, Dennis says you don't have rider toe with. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't. I'm not the kind of guy that. In fact, Iron Lady bugs me all the time about this. I could give two craps about what kind of shoes I'm wearing as long as they're protecting my feet. That's all I give a crap about. And you can tell by the shoes I wear. I don't spend a lot of money on them. To me, I mean, I have the same cowboy boots I've had since the 1970s, and I'm not playing. I take care of them. They don't look brand new at all. And I wear them not as much as I used to because I got a new pair about 2 or 3 years ago that I wear them more so when I'm out doing some work in the yard and things like that. But that's not a thing. I'm not one of those youngsters. I grew up on a farm. We grew up. That's what we did. You know. How are you going to get cow manure on your shoes if you care too much about them? And that's just the way you do. You take them off when you come in the house, and that's the way it is. Pub Runner says thanks. And Pub Runner says, I dropped my Himalayan 4 times now. Dude, if you don't drop, you ain't riding on a Himalayan. And that's no kidding. You've not been in some sketchy. And that's why I put those new tires on it here 2 weeks ago, is because I wanted to have something more aggressive. You know, one of the things I talked about with the Himalayan was the fact that it comes with the 80-20 tires. And people say, well, don't you think it should come with more aggressive? No. Because 85% of people will never even take them off-road, let alone a gravel road. Let's see. Stuart says, I bought my Hemi in the fall of 2020. The VIN says January 2021. Yeah, I mean, that's common. That's common. My Road King was bought, according to the title, the year previous to the model. Because a lot of times they used to introduce the models in the fall and then call it the next year. And that's probably what they're doing here, too. I've heard Royal Enfield sells heel-toe shifter option. Great, Dennis, because I didn't know that. Stuart says, cheers, cheers. My dingo harness boots are 15 years old. Yep, I have, exactly, I don't care. My favorite farm animals. Yes, they, you know, if you're a country boy like we are, my sons and I, we really enjoy the smell of cow manure. I know that sounds kind of funny to you city folks, but it smells fresh air to me. That's just because you know things are going to be green and you just love the smell of it. I bought my GT650 without riding in the middle of the COVID lockdown. Luckily, it's perfect. The key word was luckily, because you weren't sure if it was going to fit you or not. Man, we got 51 people watching. I appreciate it, guys. We're going to pause here a second to show you something. And I always do this. Let's see if I can get them out here. There we go. How you can support the channel, if you're interested in helping out a little bit, is if you give us a super chat or a super sticker while we're doing this live chat. I'll send you a free pack of our stickers, and this is the original sticker that and a lot of guys are having this out there. When these are gone forever. This is volume 2 that we're using from now on, and we'll be doing a volume 3 once these are gone. This is my chill to ride, because we do have quite a few Harley guys and they like this kind of sticker, so we made some of them for them. So if you are you do a super chat anywhere in the world, we'll send it to you. It have to be a super chat or a super sticker. Now, the guys that are members of my Patreon, they're getting their own sticker, and I'll show you what that is. I should have been ready. If you want to be a member of the Old Man Ronin crew, and you see the crew right there, then you have to be a member either through Patreon, or you see the little thing. Well, you'll see it not now. It'll say join at the bottom of all our videos. You join that, and we send you several of these to put on your motorcycle or wherever. And you can see these aren't little guys. They're 4 inches. Hopefully you can tell by my face. But that's what we do. That's one of the ways that we make a little bit of money. And she said, saving that for when she gets to Himalayan. That's awesome. I mean, again, Kitty, she's a member, I think, of both Patreon and the YouTube membership. And this is a way that we generate income, guys. It's the only way we can. We don't have enough subscribers to generate a tremendous amount of money like these giant 100,000 plus video channels. We're averaging about 20% of our audience or our subscriber base for the video watching, and I'm told that's better than average. Most of them don't even do that. 4 inches ain't that big. Stuart, I always appreciate what Stuart has to say. He's a character. You're in, let me think. Stuart, you're in New Orleans, right? Or outside? I think that's it. Iron Lady, that's what she, I was going to say it. Iron Lady's there keeping tabs on the old man up here. We really do appreciate each and one of you guys. That's what I thought. So Stuart's down there well, man, the Mardi Gras, all that stuff was this last couple of weeks, and that was a lot of fun, I'm sure, with them. I have not been to New Orleans during Mardi Gras proper, but it looks like it'd be a blast. Now, I have been to, oh shoot, brain just went dead. In the Alabama side, or where they do the Mardi Gras, and that was a lot of fun there. Before I know, Miss Kitty, 4 inches depending on the circumstances. Jeez, it's going there, isn't it? I'll let you guys continue to talk. But I'll tell you what, guys, as far as the Classic 350 and how much fun we had, it was literally a blast. We had, like I mentioned before, we've never been treated with so much love and respect as from a motorcycle company than what we encountered down there. And the people that we met were just phenomenal. And like I said, I know they're probably not watching, but I do want to give them an individual shout out. Jake Manley, the actor, was a really sweet guy, man. I'll tell you what, I really, really enjoyed him. He just got a new Continental GT and is totally ramped on. No, I think he got an Interceptor. He got an Interceptor, sorry. And he's totally ramped about riding it out there in California. And I think that is a misnomer, bro, because I can cook as well as what you can, your folks down there in New Orleans, because I've cooked for them when I was down there. That's all I'm saying. Need to try my Nolan shrimp roll. Need to try my Cajun sweet potato tacos. Anyway, so 500, and I do make some fantastic other foods as well too. That's my etouffee. Ask Iron Lady. She's been all over the place too. Ace says the 500 is actually quite good off-road. I had my old one, but out here on endurance tracks and single track out in the forest works surprisingly well. Just don't stand on the pegs. Sit in the saddle. I just know mud bugs here in Lake Erie. This is true. Well, we have them. We don't call them that. And I wouldn't need them out of Lake Erie. Going to need to show me someday. Well, you never know what happens. But I'll tell you what, guys. I stood up on the Classic, and we had Remy, which is another gentleman I want to give a shout out to. Remy and his wife Laura. They have the Bach motorcycle, and really go to their channel. Check their stuff out that they do as far as doing customization work for them. But it is really, really. I mean, we have a lot of crawfish, Miss Kitty. I just seen you pop up there, and man, I'll tell you, Doc, I'll thank you. No, I appreciate it, brother. Make sure you send me your address in an email. olmanronin@gmail.com. Send me your mailing address, and you'll get them on the way, brother. I appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. Let's see. But yeah, we have them in streams too. In fact, in our backyard, we got a little holler that goes back through there that's got a bunch of mud bug or crawfish holes. And again, everybody, thanks, Dak out there. We really do appreciate the super chat. We really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. It means everything to have help from you guys. But what we were getting at is Lake Erie, there's a tremendous number of smallmouth bass, and that's their primary food source in the summer is crawfish. There's tons of them there. But you just don't eat them because of pollution. That's pretty much it. Let's see. Just bought my GT 650 Continental with 25 miles of the clock at 12 months old. Now she has 6,500 miles. Loved every mile on the great bike. They are. I'll tell you what. I love that GT. If I had the money, I'd buy one tomorrow. I really mean it. I loved it so much. Dennis says it's awesome to hear Royal Enfield treats its patrons a nostalgic brand with old-fashioned value. Perfect. You hit the nail on the head. I keep finding out more to love about them. They are an amazing company, and the people are amazing. I just love it. Here in Ohio, we have these things called stink bug. Oh my God! Don't even get Iron Lady started on stink bug silencer. Let's see. Oh, there she is. Bane of my existence. Congratulations, Bandit. Dackel, you're a good guy. Thanks. I won't send address. Won't be feasible. It won't cover the cost. Your live session is good enough for me. It doesn't cost that much, my friend. Just send me your address, please. I will guarantee you I'll send them to you. I send them a lot to India already, so it's not a big deal. Miss Kitty says smallmouth love Helgramites. They do, but they really love their crawdaddies or crawfish. We call them crawfish up here. Frito says, just wanted to stop in and say hi. Thanks for all the Himalayan content. Going to get one on the 26th. Congratulations, Frito. Really appreciate it. We love doing Himalayan content, and I can't wait to show you the first impressions on the Shinko 700 series tires because they are awesome. I already got the first impressions done, and then we're going to do more and more as we get more miles on them. I get pretty polluted on crawfish. I'm sure you do, Stuart. From Royal Enfield, full range of motorcycles. Is your choice only limited to one? Which one? Again, I'm going to revert back to my original statement that I tell people when they ask me what is my favorite food to sell in my food truck, and I always say this: do you have children? And they say yes. I'll say, which is your favorite one? It's like that. I'm blessed that I don't have a lot. I mean, I bought my Himalayan of very, very used. In other words, it didn't have many miles on it, but it was used. And of course, the Meteor 350 is a what do you call it? The press bike. So it was actually dropped a few times. There's some stuff on it that you can see. What we got here? Matthew just sent some money from Australia, I think is what it is. The $8. And thank you, Matthew. Again, make sure you email me your mailing address to oldmanronin@gmail.com, and they'll be on the way. Miss Kitty thinks, I think those gray stink bugs are the reason I moved to the desert. Man, those things are foul. We have them like crazy, and it's pretty much year round here. They kind of get in the walls and stuff under your house or any place they can get in, and they just wait until you, again, great. Ask Iron Lady what she thinks of them. Tom says, will all the colors be available by the end of the year? I don't have any idea, Tom. All I can tell you is what my experiences were with riding. Stuart says, great day, mates, congrats. And again, guys, cheers to Matthew. We really appreciate each and every donation that we get, because this is the only way that we can keep making these videos, and we really do appreciate y'all. Irshman says, hey man, first time joining your live chat. Well, welcome and cheers. Thinking about buying the Classic 350 after riding the Kawi Versia 650. Cheers. I'll tell you what, the Classic, you can stand up on it. The mids are positioned, so it's really easy. Now, for me being over 6 foot tall, if I was going to do that constantly, I'd have to put some risers on it. I will tell you that. Like I did the Himalayan, I had to put 40 millimeter risers, which ones you see in the most of the catalogs are 30 millimeter. I went 10 higher, and to be honest with you, I could probably go another 10 higher and to be more comfortable for me. But that's as far as I can get, and that's the reason I stuck with them, because if you get too much and you start stacking things on top of each other, it kind of looks a little hokey, and then I have to change the cables too. But at 40 millimeters, I did not have to change any of the brake lines, the cables, or any of the electrical. It matched perfectly. Scorpions don't fly. It's truth. Silencer's laughing. Any concerns about riding your Meteor on a long trip? Not at all. Iron Lady and I rode it one weekend over 500 miles, and that was literally 2 days. The biggest day was Saturday that we rode it, and we did probably 350 miles that first day, and then the last day was about 150. When we go out riding, we normally ride 150 miles. That's an average day for us to ride, is 150 miles. But yeah, we that one weekend we did over 500 on it. Zero. I mean, the thing is, and we're talking 70 miles an hour, 2 up. And this is one other thing I want to tell you too. When we were riding on that, when I was pushing that bike to see exactly what it would do, Iron Lady and I ride double a lot. And there's quite a few videos on there of us riding double, and you can actually see the speedometer. Pub Runner says, tell me kids we stopped after we got one we liked. They tell me, choose the old folks home. Yeah, that's probably true. But yeah, you know what? I'll go out quietly, I'm pretty sure. Unless you can always make more kids. Exactly. Yeah, they always make more motorcycles, which means I can get even more and more Royal Enfields and any other motorcycle I decide down the road because, you know, it is what it is. 53 people watching. This has been one of the most popular constant videos that we've done so far. That makes me very happy. And again, as far as the bike, the way it ran, and I'm going to get back into the 350 a little bit more here. The controls were perfect. The way that they had the clutch lever and the brake lever, because a lot of bikes when you get on them, they're either tilted down too far or too far up. For me, it fit perfectly, just the way that I could lay my hands on it. Now, I didn't get into heavy corners where I had to do any trail braking or anything like that, because obviously we're in Savannah and it's a lot like Florida in a way that it's not really a lot of corners. Now, we did able to go pretty fast on the highway, and that was a lot of fun. In fact, her two wheels and Bridget, which is the girl on her bike, when we went out to Tybee Island, the lighthouse, we were on the Continental GT, and I had that thing up probably as fast as you're allowed to have them go. That's all I'll say. I promised Bridget I wouldn't tell how fast we were going. See, you can always make more kids. That's the same statement. But the reality of it is, guys, the bike, the controls were perfect. As far as for my hand placement, the bar placement was the right width. And really, if you want to see how I look on the bike, go to my Instagram page. Follow me there as well. And but check, there's a bunch of different angles. And you're going to see more and more pictures as we go on later in the week. I took the classic Savannah roads were built on a grid pattern. Exactly. I mean, and it went outside of town too. We went to a place called, Dennis, are you from that area? Because we went to a place called Wormslow, and it's an old plantation. It was built in 1733. And obviously, the building's not there anymore. But they took us out there to get some really cool pictures down that long drive. And you've seen some of it on my Instagram page where we were riding it with the live oaks with the moss hanging down. It's just simply gorgeous. And we got lots of fun times down there. It says, the road felt well, but the buzz through the handlebars left my hands numb, so I bought the Himalayan. Well, again, that's the Classic 500. This is, if you've not watched a lot of my videos, like I said, I think that the 350 engine is flawless, because it is, I mean, they've counterbalanced that single, and you guys all know a single cylinder is bound to vibrate unless they do some work on it, and they did. It really has very little vibration. It's smooth as silk. It still gives you that tactile feel in your butt, but there's no buzzing on the handlebars. Even at high speeds, you can't tell the difference between high speed, other than the feeling you get in your rear end when you know when to shift. And then, like I mentioned, you'll see in the upcoming videos as I'm talking, and those are the ones that are going to be the ones you really want to watch as well too. The way that you can feel the tactile of the shifting of the gears gives you the ability to go through the gears and know you're in the right gear, or in a gear, I should say, not the right gear. I'm not a technology guy, and I know there's a lot of folks, especially the younger generation, want these rider modes. And let's see, Iron Lady, she loves Charleston. Okay, Charleston, but Travis says, yeah, exactly. This is my rider mode. And using the brakes and using my throttle. I don't need rain mode, rock mode, mud mode, snow mode. I don't need it. Know yourself, know your motorcycle, and know the roads. If you plan for that, I mean, there's a lot of times when you're riding down the highway and all of a sudden there's somebody dump gravel on it. What are you gonna do? Hit a button real quick to find rock? No, man, just use God's riding mode. That's all I'll say. Someone mentioned earlier that they heard the clutch was stiff in the Classic. Not sure. Yes, I answered it quite extensively there. You must have either missed it or maybe it blocked out when the computer froze there for a second. I find it extremely easy. I use 1-2 fingers all the time on the Classic, on the Meteor, on the Himalayan. But again, I'm used to riding Harley Davidsons where you have to yank that sucker, man. I'm telling you. Pub Brother says I have the slowest bike in the family, and yet I'm the one who gets the speeding fines. Himalaya isn't easy to get speed for somebody. It just creeps up. It does. Donna, thank you so much, brother. We really appreciate you. Everybody give Donna a thank you for offering up a €10 super chat. We really appreciate it. And happy Easter to you as well, too. And I keep forgetting to mention that, guys, is happy Easter. Let's see. Stuart says, okay, half T-bone steak ready for me. Thanks, Jeff, and all that. You, 1.5 T-bones. We had steaks last night, and it was awesome. We we'd had that and margaritas, and I'll say a little more. Because okay, for sure, I think about time I had a phone call. That's probably what it was. But yeah, it's so easy. The clutches are so light. But again, I have to understand where I'm coming from too. That I'm riding 15, 16, 17, 1800 cc engines a lot of times too. Let's see. Blaine says seat of the pants hooked to the brain. Exactly. That's the way that I learned how to ride. We never had tax on old bikes, and we just listened to the buzz or felt the buzz, and we did it from there. James said, did Royal Enfield give the reason for the choice of the 350 to the 550? Just because the original 350 Bullet was the classic, and the original classic 350 was the original Bullet at 350 cc's, and then they made the 500 Classic later, and that's the reason why they went that route. Now, what they'll do in the future, I have no idea, but I think that's the reason. Plus the fact that that engine is freaking awesome. I cannot tell you enough how much I love that 350 engine. And this is a guy who's, my first Harley was 1,000 cc's, just under 1,000 cc's, and that was 14 years old. And I went from a RM 390 to that, and and in fact, if you watch the video on my tires, when I went up to Mid Ohio Power Sports to get my Shinko 700 series on, I said this, and in fact, the owner of the company said the same thing, Dave up there. I said, when I first got the not the Himalayan, but the Meteor, I was thinking, man, is the 350 engine going to even be? Again, you got to remember, I'm a Harley guy that been riding Royal Enfield now for going on 2.5 years or 2 years, and I never expected to love it as much as I do. It is amazing little engine. I can't give it enough praise. It does everything you ask for it. And here's a story I've said, and I'll tell people, and I was asked to say it by the president of the company down there, and I'll say it right now. I normally don't talk like this. This winter, we had the most extreme cold we've had in Central Ohio since we've lived here. Now, up home in Northeast Ohio, we've had a lot colder. But since we've been down here, it was -9 degrees Fahrenheit since we've lived down here. It's the coldest it's been. I was up in the garage, and I said, just for craps and giggles, I've got all my bikes winterized, but once in a while I like to fire things up and see how they go. Out of the 7 Harleys and the 2 Royal Enfields we had in the garage, the Royal Enfields were the only ones that started. And I'm talking about not a hesitation. The Meteor went pow right now. I used a little controller to engage the enrichment on the Himalayan, pow right now. The Road King, the Dyna, the Sportsters, the Softail would not start. No, not at all. Not till it warmed up several days later. Now you can attribute that to a lot to the way that the engines are oiled. But I did oil the cylinders. I always fog the cylinders before I put them away. So, and in fact, I did it to the Meteor and the Himalayan too. But they still fired up without a problem. You must have the classic 350. You never regret. Well, again, I'm not a rich person, Mohammed. But if I ever had the opportunity to buy one at a really good price, then I probably would. I just don't. Right now, it's not feasible for me to put out any more money on any motorcycles. It's just not going to happen. Signify said, James, I think they had to meet new emission standards and able to squeeze about the same performance out of it. Dennis says, I've always considered 500 cc's the threshold of a big enough bike that wasn't too big on. Well, I can't answer to what Signify's saying because I would be speaking above my pay grade because I do not know. As far as Dennis, it depends on where you're riding and what you're riding. Like I said, I have plans. Retail on the Classic, you can find that information on the Royal Enfield site. They just put it up. So if you go to royalenfield.com, I'm not sure because I think it changes in each particular country, and I don't want to say the wrong one if I don't know where you're at. That way, if somebody says, well, it's only this amount of money, and Ol Man Ronin said that. No. You have to go to their website, and they're going to give you a manufactured suggested, and that's the key, suggested retail price. things change. Kurt says, any word on the new Meteor 650? And I mentioned this a little bit earlier. Royal Enfield is keeping everything close to the vest right now because of the shortage of shipment and the supply chain issues. So I made the statement they're keeping it, they're as tight as nuns knees right now, and they're not saying anything. And even if I did say something, I probably they wouldn't frown on me saying it, but I don't know. I really have no information on any new models, unfortunately, guys. I am not tied to Royal Enfield other than being a fan. I wish I was, but I'm not. That's something that you guys can start a petition and say, hey, make Ol Man Ronin part of the company. I'm just kidding, because that never happened. I'm too old and ugly. I've been told that by several other companies in my past, in the last 5 years. So it just is what it is. They want their young and pretty, and I am not. Let's see, any other questions? We got 40 watching. It dropped off a little bit, and that's cool. But I do want to thank each and every one of you guys, Donna and Matthew, and of course Daka. We really, to the Red Panda, how much we really appreciate each and every one of the super chats. And like I said, email me your address, and the sticker pack will be on the way. And we really, like I said, that's important for us. And I know it sounds a little bit like a commercial, but that's how we make money. Remy just sent me a message saying he enjoyed the post that we shared. Maybe he can get on here. I don't know if he is. Blaine says, got to bail. Take care. Blaine, thank you. I appreciate it. Not sure if you remember me or not, Jeff. We've spoken to you on Instagram on several occasions. Awesome. Like I said, remind me, because not that I'm a huge channel, but I am old and I have a terrible memory. And do you use the same name there as you do on Instagram? I'm just curious. So that'd be a better way to. But yeah, it's something I really try to do, is I try to remember as much as I can. But the reality of it is, I don't have the best memory as I used to. And plus, between the food truck, Ol Man Ronin, and some of the other stuff we got going on, it does take a lot of thoughts in my head. Said, haha, figured, and yes, same name. There you go. But yeah, it is what it is. Silencer, he doesn't remember speaking to me. What are you going to do? I tell you, her name's Iron Lady, not because she rides an Iron 83. She's tough as nails, and that's the way it should be. Because apparently I'm a big old softie. Is that right, Iron Lady? I'm sure we're going to get some laughing right there. Silencer just said laughing his ass off. That's awesome. Well, guys, any other questions on my experiences down in Savannah? Pat, did you ever get to meet Lance Oliver in Savannah? I have no idea who that is. I'm sorry. I don't know. If it's a sports guy, forget about it. I don't do sports. I mean, I did when I was a kid. I'm a player, not, and that sounded wrong. I participate. I don't watch. I know that sounds funny to say. But I've never been somebody that sat around. So you'd have to explain to me who he is, and that may help. But I really don't get into that kind of stuff. I used to watch football and baseball until they started getting political. Let's see. It's the longest I've lasted watching up. Hey, well, thank you. Appreciate it, Pub Brother. We really do appreciate you being here. And cheers. We do appreciate it very, very much. See, Dennis says, do you have any low country shrimp and grits on the trip? No, we didn't have an opportunity to go there. But I really, he's a writer with Revzilla Common Thread. No, I did not meet him. I don't know if he was there. Some of the writers came in a couple days before us. I did meet the gentleman from Road Dirt TV, and he seemed to be a real nice guy. In fact, it was kind of funny. They actually have a YouTube channel that has a couple thousand subscribers on it. And I was asking him, I said, you look familiar. And he goes, he don't fart like you in a wealth of knowledge. Like, well, thank you. He basically said, you look familiar too. And I said, are you this? Road Dirt TV on my phone? Excuse me. He goes, yeah. I said, well, he goes, you're Ol Man Ronin. He goes, oh man. He just changed his entire attitude. And it made me feel kind of good, because he was a big fan of the channel and watches all of our videos as well too. And that made me feel good. But really nice people we met down there. I would have loved to have some low country grits on this trip, and shrimp and grits, but to be perfectly honest with you, I get all of my shrimp for the food truck from Mobile, Alabama, and we do grits pretty daggone good. That's all I'm trying to say. You can ask Iron Lady and anybody that's ever had our stuff. In fact, I learned how to fish. I learned how to make a lot of these foods that I fill in my food truck from actually being down in these areas. In the low country, the shrimp and grits would not be my number one choice. And if you're from that area, you know what gullah geechee is, brother. And that's the cuisine that I like the best when I'm in that part of the country. And I didn't get a chance to have any of that as well either. But uh, it just is what it is. Let's see. Iron Lady looks like Margaret Thatcher. Well, she'd probably appreciate that because she was the Iron Lady as well too. And it's a question mark. No, she doesn't. She's exact opposite of that. Your favorite paint choice of the 350 color? I like the black, that stealth black with the red stripe. I really did. That's the bike I rode every time. You'll see that. Red beans and sausage, brother. Yeah, I'm telling you what. We do a lot of that too. I make my own sausage up here. I make my own red beans and rice. And red rice and sausage and that kind of stuff. Like I said, I was influenced heavily. I am a chef, and I put it to you this way: we're not a like a food truck, average food truck. We don't go to festivals or anything like that. We go to specialty places, and we serve elevated food truck food. And we really take pride in what we do. And like I said, one of our most popular things is our Nolan shrimp roll, and we get a lot of love on that. In fact, her two wheels comes to the truck a lot, and they get either our pastrami sandwich or our what's that right there, or our shrimp roll, and they love it. But I really love gullah geechee. That whole flavor of the African culture that's there is just phenomenal in food. In fact, I had some great conversations with some of the drivers that we had taking us to and from the airport and different places around. And nice niche, exactly. And that's what we do. The thing that's cool about that is that I was mentioning some of the stuff. Like I told them I make an oxtail ragu, and that's something a lot of city folk never had. And one of the things I really do is I love using peasant food and making it taste good. And gullah geechee, and French, Italian, all these cuisines, Amish, Low Country, Cajun, Creole, Kunas, all that stuff is poor people food. And the reason why it tastes so good is because they didn't always get the high cuts. You know, the saying "high on the hog" comes from the richer you were, the higher off of the ground that the meat cuts you got. So where you're getting a ham up there, that's a high on the hog, man. It's like some of the steaks, the loins and stuff like that. That's high on the beef. The tenderloin of the pig, that's high on the hog. Whereas the poor folks got the feet, they got the shank, they got the shank. And that's where all the good flavors come from. Now, this is not going to be a cooking show right now, but I really do love low country cuisine. Let's see. Jeff says, USA link to R8 site only shows black, silver, desert tan, gray marsh so far. Well, there you go. Again, I don't know. I haven't been there in a while to look at that. Actually, I haven't been there since we've been back from Georgia, and it wasn't up until then. Let's see. I know it's cliche, but I fell in love with the idea of camping. Just you, the tent, and your bike. And perfect. That's exactly what we're going to be doing this summer as well, too. Food made with love makes it great. Made with love and being inexpensive. Stretching the proteins. Taking every ounce of flavor out of that beef shank. It's kind of funny when you talk about the shank of the different animals. Ossobuco is a highly delicacy in Italy. It's basically the lower part of the leg of a cow. Oxtail ragu or an oxtail soup is basically literally the tail of the cow, and it's cooked really. The more the muscle works, the better flavor it has. However, it's also the toughest cut, which is what the poor folks got. That's all you got was the tough cuts. But they make it taste better than any rich people food, and that's what we specialize in. Let's see. Food made with love makes it great. Any other questions, guys? We're running on an hour and a half, and we really do appreciate. Traditional food is mostly from poor people. Yes, exactly. That's what I meant, French and Italian cuisine. Patrick says, Savannah looks like it'd be such a beautiful city. Any hassles with cobblestones in the Classic? In fact, it was an amazing ride. I would have not wanted to take my Road King there. That's for daggone sure. But I'll tell you what, the Classic, like I said, if you know Savannah, that road right down right on the river, where you can pick up the Georgia Queen there, the big the paddle boat or that goes on the Savannah River right there, all the touristy places along the edge. That's all like miles, at least 2 miles of or a mile and a half, something like that, of cobblestone roads, and we had no issue whatsoever. Her two wheels, Jess, and Bridget, the girl on her bike, had no problem. And I'm telling you, no issues whatsoever on the with the classic. And even Remy and Laura, they had no issues whatsoever with the classic down on those cobblestone roads, and we went the entire length of it, and then up and then just rode all around the rest of the place, and then even on some of the brick roads that are back there. It was such a beautiful place, man. Savannah and Charleston are my two favorite cities in the East South. I love them. I love those areas, without a doubt. Better than Richmond, better than Roanoke, not Roanoke, but better than any of those places up along the Northeast as well too. But any place along the East Coast, those are my two favorite cities, and Iron Lady and I like to go there as much as we possibly can, because when we travel, we love our motorcycles and we love to eat good food, and I always learn where I'm going and learn how to cook the food that I'm at. Let's see. Any other questions, guys? Well, I want to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you. I wanted to show you my shirt here too, the Classic 350 shirt that they gave us. Let me stand up a little bit. We were really honored to have this shirt. We got quite a few little bit of swag when we were down there as well too. But we had such a great time, and I want to send out a special thanks again to Bree Poland and all the folks at Royal Enfield that made us feel right at home. We really, really, really appreciate being invited to such an honorable, in my opinion, event. We really enjoyed it. Well, guys, we're going to call her quits for tonight. I'm going to give another few seconds, see if anybody has any questions before we go. But the Classic 350, if you get a chance to go test ride one, please do, because you will never, ever, ever be you'll be pleasantly surprised, particularly if you guys have a bigger engine and say, well, a 350 ain't going to do it. Like I mentioned before, Dave up at Mid-Ohio Power Sports and myself, we came to the same conclusion. We never thought it was going to be that great of a bike, and man, it just gives you the goofy grin factor like crazy. That's all I can say. Patrick says, love your work. Keep it coming. We will definitely try as hard as we can. James says, if the opportunity arrived, would you enjoy riding in India? Man, I would love it. I've been to India and I've been to the UK, but it's been back in the 80s, so it's been a long, long time. I would love to go to India, and I would love to go to the UK and ride Royal Enfields or whatever I could possibly get my hands on, because it's about the ride, and it's about the bike you're on as well too. For sure, when I get my Himalayan, I hope to ride side by side with you, Jeff. Definitely take great care and great live stream. Thank you very much. Donna said, white t-shirt, black leather jacket, just like Marlon Brando in the 50s. There you go, brother. Hippie Biker says, keep up the good work. Thank you, Hippie. And I didn't see you on there before, but welcome to the channel and cheers. Well, guys, if there's no other questions, we'll give it a half a second here. Signified said, such an awesome opportunity, Jeff. Look forward to test riding one. Cheers, everyone. And here we go, guys. Listen, are you ready? Y'all know what this means. Guys, if you really like the video, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share this with your buddies too. And please ask as many people as you possibly can to subscribe to the channel. We want to grow. We want to make better and better videos. And the only way we can do that is by making the channel bigger as well. Well, until next time, guys. Ride safe and keep her on two wheels, baby. Get it over here so you can see my fingers. Two wheels and keep them down so the rubber side is down. Until next time, guys, be good.